Now we're going to do some negative shape painting. Could I use this brush or this brush? You know what? I'm going to use this brush a little bit later on. This is a great brush. One of the nice things about using a larger brush is you get the painting done a whole lot faster. And please know that when you see brushes like this, don't freak out, because you also have this edge here and then you have this edge here too. But for this video, we're going to be using this for now. Okay, and now here is what it would look like always. I always start off with it looking, color everywhere. Color everywhere. And then our goal is, well, how's he going to turn that into some flowers? Well, this would be step 1, and then this is step 2. So this whole page here, this whole page of this painting right here was a mess at one time. It looked just like this. And after it dried, I just came in with some blue and got some negative paintings techniques in here, got rid of the part that didn't look like David, as I say. Let's see where we can go with this one. Okay, again, we're not doing photorealism here, thank goodness. I use the gesso. Of course, when you use gesso, which is white, and a lot of titanium, when you add that color, white, to color, it's going to make it opaque. And that's what I want to have happening right here. So, wet my brush. Always wet your brush. Don't ever put a dry brush in your paint, so it's nice and wet, because that way the paint flows off the brush a lot easier. So I have a big puddle of white right here. Here we go. Make it nice and juicy. Make sure we don't use enough water in our paints. You want to use a whole lot of water. This isn't toothpaste you're scraping around. Get it so it flows off the brush easily. Now I'm going to dab it, dry it a little bit here. Now we're not looking at any particular kinds of flowers. I don't do very specific kinds of flowers. I'm not a botanist. I'm a painter. And so I'm going to project and think about, geez, there's got to be some flowers in here somewhere. Let's see what happens. Let's see how much trouble I can get into. It's not very easy for me not to get into trouble. So here we go. Just the beginning. And there's the vase. There's the table down there. This might be a hard thing for a lot of us to do at first and to see and visualize it at first, because we're probably trained the other way. Especially if you've read a lot of those books that talk about lights and darks. But then this one here again is what I'm saying is we're just goofing around. And that painting is almost done. Now, because we have so much stuff going on the table here, it's very hard to isolate and see what's going on here. So most studio painters will paint with a discarded mat. And it's a great way of getting rid of all the other stuff. And so we'll temporarily put a discarded mat around it. That way I can see what's right and what's wrong. Well, right off the bat, it has no focal point. And in doing flower paintings, even though I'm not trying to do very specific types of flowers, you want to have a focal point. And usually I call it the star. And so we'll wet the brush here. Let's find a color here. Oh, let's just use this yellow. And just pick a spot. I always like to go to bing. There you are. That's the star. See how your eye goes right to it? Right there? We'll try something else in here. And maybe a couple more over here, and over here, and over here. And now let's get the center. Maybe something like that. And boy, at this point, this painting is almost finished. Okay? Now, the table here, I'm going to make it a little bit different. Okay, because it's fighting the shape here. So I'm going to take the table and just make it a different color. See how nice it is to have paint all over the table? It's a lot easier to kind of make quick decisions and not worrying about mixing colors. I want to mix the colors. It holds the whole painting together. Again, it's just, oh, I need to get some dark in here. Let me get some dark colors in here. I'm going to kick it up a little bit here with some dark colors. Add some more blue. Got to use colors. Painting's not going to paint itself. So now I can go back from there and kind of clean it up a little bit. Give me some contrast. Like that. Photorealism, this is not what photorealism is. Again, this is more about painting. And here we go here. There's a vase. Let's put a shadow in here. Cool. Just like that. Kick it up a little bit more in here. You caught me using my fingers. I use my finger painting all the time. Let's see how we're doing. It's nice and wet, nice and juicy, isn't it? That's, for me, that's done. Again, all it is a warm-up. It's kind of get you started. It's not meant to be this magnificent rendering, you know, of florals. I don't care what kind of flowers they are. To me, I want it to be, number one, oh, look at that painting. Oh, look, it's a flower in a vase. And that's pretty much it. That's called negative shape painting, where we made a mess all over the place. After it has dried a little bit, we came back in and did some negative shape painting. And I'll do about 6 or 7, sometimes even 10 or 12 of these every morning as a warm-up. You know, and usually 6. And in fact, at the end of a month, what do I have? Oh my gosh, I have 180 of these little paintings. These are the paintings, I'll be honest with you, they go flying off the gallery walls. The galleries love these. And if you're doing outdoor art festivals, these are the kinds of things, paintings you want to put in those bins. So, and you haven't spent a whole lot of time. They're light, they're lively, they're fun. The consumer loves these because they're original painting. It's not another print, and they're fairly affordable too. So, as I'll do it like as I said, about 180 of these little paintings, these little gems, in a month time. One day I might be doing flowers, the next day I might be doing trees, the next day I might be doing some fruits and vegetables, but this one's all about flowers, this DVD. And I also like to say, now they're all not going to be great. Okay, there's going to be some real turkeys in some of these, but I don't put that pressure on myself. I always like to say, many are called, but few are chosen. While that's drying, that particular painting, I pulled out of my bin some of the ones I'm still working on, so you can kind of get an example of some of the variations. Again, all of these paintings you're about to see were one big mess. And this is my blue painting with all the different kinds of blues, and I still had a focal point in here. So here's one. I'll talk a little bit later on about how to paint stems. We'll get into, so hang tight here. But right now, here's one. Here's another one where I incorporated the table and looking at the design. Again, your focal point is right there because it's the part of the painting that's the most different. Here's another one where I made it a whole lot smaller so we have more space around the vase and the flowers. Gives it more atmosphere, more open space, breathing room, so to speak. Here's another one. Again, these are just little samples. Here's one that's I zoomed in almost, and it's all flowers and very little space around here. Here's my green and red one. There's, you know, right out of the color wheel, green and red, complementary colors. And again, these aren't meant to be great grand paintings, but they're great fun to have. And as I said, they sell like crazy too. Here's one where I actually went back and started putting some collage paper in there, little stripes of black and white paper, and it's the same thing. This whole painting looked just like this mess here. And see how you start to looking at this painting, you start to look at this painting and you connect the dots. So I haven't given the viewer all the pieces of information. You know, I stopped too soon. You stop somewhere around 90%. You don't want to sit there and paint every little petal and every little green spot and dark spots and show all the stems. It's the illusion. It's the fun part. It's the impressionistic part of painting. So now we're going to get into composition, and what is this whole thing about composition? Your painting will fall into one of these designs I'm about to show you.